My web warriors. Oh, my web warriors. Oh my goodness. It is a very shocking day. All right, this is a very shocking day for me. All right, I literally got done watching your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and I gotta say, for someone who really hasn't been looking forward to this, I really could care less about this show. I've been very vocal over the years about how I felt about the MCU Spider-Man. Again, you can go watch my Wasted Potential MCU Spider-Man video. It's the biggest video on the channel, and I still stand by a lot of those stuff, even though my opinion has softened a little bit after watching those movies multiple times. My opinion has softened. But ultimately, I've never been a huge fan of the Tony Stark / Peter relationship, the Iron Man Jr. aspect of Peter. I never really liked that. And, to hear that we were going to get a show that was like the early days of the MCU Spider-Man, and then they changed it to have it be its own thing, and then you have the voice actor saying, like, he thought this was going to be some woke shit, and all just nonsense. And then I see the art style, I'm like, oh no. I'm just like, this shit gonna be ass. And then it comes out, all the episodes are out, and everyone's talking about this is the best fucking Spider-Man show since Spectacular Spider-Man and fucking 90 Spider-Man. And I'm here sitting here like, this can't be. I refuse to eat this piece of shit food. Alright? I refuse. I will stand my ground. And then I took a sip, or took a little slice of that Spider-Man cake. And I was like, holy shit. These motherfuckers actually cooked. This show is fucking great. Like, what? I was in disbelief in every single episode on how much this show was hooking me. I was shocked on how much I was liking it. I was blown away by how much I was just like, and when I finished the whole show, I was like, I need season 2 now. Like, I was shocked. I was in disbelief. I was like, how could this be possible? And I had to sit on this show and figure out, like, why did I love this show so much? And it clicked to me. It clicked to me as like having a fucking Mary Jane butt-ass naked, and I'm about to googly on her vagina, like Peter does. And it came to me that this show, and why I love it so much, is that this show is a fucking apology letter to the Spider-Man community. Like, this show is truly just saying, we apologize for how we handle Spider-Man in the MCU. We know you didn't quite like that interpretation, even though it's made $1 billion and whatever. Now, here's an interpretation. This is our what if we owned the full rights. Because I think a lot of people forget that both Sony and Marvel owns the rights to Spider-Man to do the movies and whatnot. So they both have to agree on things. Now, this show is like, yeah, nah, fuck that. We don't have fucking Disney, Sony down our necks. This is how we would handle Spider-Man. And it's fucking awesome. And they do one crucial thing that makes it fucking awesome, and why it's a correct way of doing this shit for MCU Spider-Man, is that they remembered that Spider-Man is the little guy. Spider-Man, the quintessential thing about Spider-Man to me is that he is the average Joe that just has superpowers. Alright? That is the quintessential thing about Spider-Man. He is the working class citizen that just so happens to have spider powers. That is it. That is the only thing that makes him fascinating. And because of that, so much people can relate and touch on him on so many different ways. That's what makes him such a million fucking amazing character and why he stood the test of time. And this show kind of reminds that. In the MCU, because he had Tony, he always had a way out of situation. If he had to pay fucking rent, oh well, you know, Tony will just hand him some money to help his aunt out. You know, if he wanted to go on a trip to England, Tony can pay for that shit, no problem, bro. If something happened to his suit, oh, just bring it to Tony, he'll fix it. The everyday, ordinary element of Spider-Man was lost when you did that. And that was always my biggest critique. Now, granted, watching the movies again, there are little bit moments like that, but they're nowhere as big or grand as the other previous Spider-Man movies or shows, or even the comics, or even fucking the Insomniac video game. Like, none of that is referenced in the MCU as well as I would like it to be. In this show, because there was like, you know, instead of Tony taking care of Peter and giving him his gadgets and everything, let's let fucking Norman Osborn do it. And that and as soon as they did that, and I figured it out, I was like, motherfucker, that's genius. Because then every episode is literally fucking slapping you, the audience, in the head, telling you why Spider-Man should never, ever, ever work with a rich motherfucker. Spider-Man is the working class fucking hero. Why the fuck would he work for Iron Man? It doesn't be taken under his wing. No, there's gotta be huge consequences for that. And have Norman be that. Norman, throughout the whole episode, he talks friendly and whatnot, but he's just using Peter to get what he wants. And Peter is falling for it because he genuinely wants to do good. He wants to protect the neighborhood, but he wants to do it in a more proficient way. And there's one moment, I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's one moment where we do the different out of suits montage moment to figure out what's the best suit for Spider-Man. And there's one moment where Norman's like, well, you know, we did a group test to see how these suits would fit and how they would work for you, and would the young people and the old people like it. And I'm like, what the fuck does this have to do with Spider-Man protecting people? You know, what does this have to do with him being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? And again, that's when the show is just like fucking slapping you in the head, telling you that people like Norman Osborn and a little bit of Tony don't give a fuck about looking after the little guy. And how it ties in is through a fucking character that I was so shocked. I was so shocked about this character. Tombstone parallels Peter's journey and together with him. Like, that is so incredible. Like, how they handle that is so fucking beautiful. It's beautiful. Both Lonnie and Peter both have a responsibility to their families. They both want to do right things by their family and also their community. But because of circumstances, they are driven into going down different paths. Lonnie, because of the whole Scorpion gang, which I really love the idea of a Scorpion gang. Matt Gargan having his own little gang, I like that. Because of that whole situation, his brother getting tied into that, he's willing to do everything to protect his family, which even that means joining a gang. And even though he's reluctant to even be associated as we get further along in the show, you realize he's actually come to respect it and like it. And it's almost like the weight of responsibility has been taken off of him because he has the gangs looking out for him and doing stuff, and start less becoming antagonistic toward him, and by the end respecting Talani. And then you have Peter, the kid who's trying to look after his neighborhood and do the right thing, has Norman Osborn telling him to go and do all this dumb shit put on this costume, which, by the way, I love how all the costumes are a nod to Identity Crisis story arc in the comics. I love that. Going down different avenues and different ways and all that stuff. He's literally having Peter go through all this testing and trying to figure out what's the best suit and all this like stuff that is so irrelevant, only to use Peter for his own ambitions and goals. And Peter falls for it because he just wants to look after Aunt May. She has bills to pay and whatnot. And I'm just sitting to myself, this fucking show is genius because it's a direct consequence of Peter's actions and saying, because you abandon your friendly neighborhood duties and you are not looking after the little guy like Lonnie falls into crime. Because you wasn't looking after him, he falls into crime. And if you had just taken your eyes off the ball and focused on the little guy, Lonnie probably wouldn't have been interfered with the fucking gang and wouldn't have gotten himself into the whole Scorpion gang. If Peter would have looked into the Scorpion gang, he probably could have stopped them before even Scorpion got all his abilities. And I'm just like, this show is fucking genius. Consequences that eventually is going to have huge ramifications. Like, bro, like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I wanted the MCU Spider-Man to have. Consequences with punishment. And we lost a great one. Because Lonnie could have done so much amazing things in his life. But now he's gone down this rabbit hole of just pure darkness. And in only a matter of time before Peter's got to deal with him. And that's fucking genius. That is literally the fucking, like, drug-infested, like, the sacrilegion of fucking Spider-Man. That there's consequences and weight. Can I say that for the MCU Spider-Man? No, the fuck it's not. And not until the third movie do we get consequences with weight. Like, that is fucking awesome. And it's like, that's what I wanted from a Spider-Man, the MCU Spider-Man to do. Everything about this show, whether it be the relationship with Lonnie and Peter, Norman and Peter's relationship, flipping the Tony and Peter's relationship on its head in unique and cool ways. This is what I envision the MCU Spider-Man. It's still focused on Spider-Man. The MCU stuff is still happening. This show literally fucking makes a great point of why the secret identity is so important to Spider-Man because of the Soviet Accord. Because of the Soviet Accord, anybody who's a vigilante would automatically go to jail for their shit. Making Spider-Man a vigilante. Him being with Tony negates that shit. And that makes his secret identity useless. This is why the secret identity is fucking useless in the MCU. Because of Tony, he's probably like in the background like, General Ross, don't worry, I know that hero. Trust me, he's one of us. Like, no, the secret identity of Spider-Man is sacred. It's important. There's a reason why that identity is important. Bruh, and it pisses me off that the MCU didn't understand that, but this show gets it. This is why him hiding his identity from people makes total fucking sense. And there's a moment in this show, I'm not gonna spoil it, that is the typical, I'm mad at you for not telling me your identity. And my God, it's handled so fucking beautiful in this show. Oh. I was sitting there like, oh my goodness. They took the stupidest trope that Invincible did, and they actually made it fucking work and make total sense. I was like, oh, this show is amazing. I can go on and on about like how I love how Doc Ock is portrayed in here. He's funny, but also he's kind of a dork. But you can tell he's smart, but he's also a dork. I love shout outs to like the nods to the Rhino and the Chameleon. Oh, this show's so amazing. Oh, yes. I'm glazing this show because this is exactly how I wanted the MCU Spider-Man to be from day one. Always focus on him. I love that Peter's fucking costume. Like, the reason why his costume is red and blue, because of fucking Captain America. And what is Captain America? Also a fucking little guy, the man of the people. Also, the man of the people like Spider-Man. Like, come on. Like, they get it. Now, am I saying that the show is perfect? Absolutely not. There are some problems. I only have, like, minor little nitpick ones. One is a big problem, the animation. I can't stand this fucking animation. I like the inspiration that they took from, which is Steve Ditko. I love that they took Steve Ditko's, like, designs and art for inspiration. I love how Peter's outfit is literally his first appearance look in the comics, which Steve Ditko will always draw him in. I love that. I love how everything looked, but the animation, fuck. Like, sometimes when Peter swings, it looks like trash. And I'm like, bro, take me back to early 2000s, bro. To the MTV Spider-Man. That Spider-Man moves so fucking fluid, and it's ridiculous. And this show is a 2025 show, and the animation just looks like ass. But luckily the writing is so great. And, my only other complaint is that I wish we just had more supporting characters. I wish we had gotten to see MJ, or this interpretation of MJ. I wish we would have gotten to see this interpretation of somebody from the other Spider-Man cast, or J. Jonah Jameson, like, you know, staple Spider-Man characters. However, to contrast that, I do love that Spider-Man has characters in here that I have no idea they're from actual, like, other parts of the Marvel universe. Like Nico, I was shipping Nico and Peter together. I was like, I could see y'all being a couple. And then I was like, let me look up this character, see if she's from anything. She's literally from the Runaways. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'm not saying we gotta have all the characters be typical supporting cast that we usually see from the Spider-Man comic book, but it would have been nice to have a little bit more. I know next season we're gonna get Gwen, which, that's my other critique, is the next season. I don't like that we're getting Spider-Gwen so quickly, but we'll see how they handle it. But I don't really like that. But overall, man, this shit is like peak. This show is so good. You know, if you have a complaint or you're mad that it's not comic accurate, I just gotta say, newsflash, you know, stop bitching, stop whining, you know. It don't need to be comic accurate 24/7. As long as the writing's good and I understand why the characters are at where they're at, I'm completely fine with you changing shit, alright? Spider-Man fans need to accept more changes, alright? As long as it is truly what we understand and love about the character is still in here. And I see a lot of the influence of Spider-Man in this show. I can't say that about Tom's portrayal of fucking Spider-Man, and that's not Tom's fault. That's literally how the writers did him. So it is what it is. Also, I gotta say, I love how they handled the whole Spider-Bite shit. I'm not gonna spoil it, but they take a particular deleted scene and some things from the Amazing Spider-Man executed it 10 times better. Ending of this show, there's one little cool little twist that happens that I was like, I need to know how they're gonna answer this shit. Because this could either be the coolest idea or the most shittiest idea. I don't know, but I'm all for it. Overall, to wrap up this video, all I have to say is this. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is everything I think Spider-Man fans been wanting for from the MCU Spider-Man, which is a true representation of a young Spider-Man trying to navigate a world with superheroes. And to have Norman Osborn be his mentor instead of Tony is a direct critique of the whole idea of Spider-Man teaming up with a billionaire or being with a billionaire person. It makes Spider-Man not relatable. It makes Spider-Man not the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man when you team him up with somebody that is not the little guy. Spider-Man, at the core of his fundamental of the character, is that he's the little guy, he's the man of the people, and that he's relatable. And the MCU Spider-Man did not show that relatability, or that he's the man of the people, or that he is the average Joe. What they showed him as was Iron Man Jr. And this show constantly mocks that and says, that's dumb. Let's not do that. Let's critique that and show the consequences of being the rich guy's lapdog. And I'm just so glad this show exists because of that. I feel rewarded. I feel like my critiques over the years have finally paid off. I'm extremely happy. With all that being said, that's going to do it for my video. If you're new to the channel, please comment, rate, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let me know, what is your favorite Spider-Man cartoon show? Comment below and let me know. And as always, stay tuned. This is your boy, Mrs. Generate, signing out. Have a good one. Can't wait for season 2. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good.